Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can follow more real aviation stories, technical analyses, and detailed narratives about what happens behind the scenes of flight. Your subscription is essential for us to keep bringing high-quality content. Germanwings Flight 9525 took off on the morning of March 24th, 2015, departing Barcelona for Dusseldorf. It was an ordinary Airbus A320, carrying passengers heading to work, to vacations, or simply returning home. The weather was clear, visibility excellent, and nothing suggested that this flight would become one of the most tragic and impactful stories in modern aviation. Inside the cabin, the crew carried out their routine procedures. While some passengers settled into their seats, others chatted quietly, and a few closed their eyes for a brief rest during the short flight over the French Alps. In the first minutes, everything proceeded absolutely normally. The captain made his initial announcements, leveled the aircraft at cruising altitude, and exchanged brief communications with air traffic control. The first officer, Andreas Lubitz, followed each procedure calmly. Nothing about his behavior hinted at anything unusual. Yet, unknown to everyone on board, a silent tragedy was beginning to unfold, recorded moment by the aircraft's instruments. After some time, the captain stood up to go to the restroom, leaving the first officer alone in the cockpit. The procedure was routine, repeated thousands of times each day on flights around the world, without any issue. But when the captain closed the reinforced door behind him, he unknowingly set the stage for the limits of cockpit security to be tested in the worst way imaginable. As soon as the captain left, Lubitz locked the door electronically, activating the mode that prevented re-entry unless the pilot inside granted access. Then, deliberately and without hesitation, the first officer adjusted the autopilot to begin a continuous descent. The aircraft obeyed the new commands, losing altitude gradually, smoothly enough not to alarm passengers at first. Outside the cockpit, the captain attempted to return, but the door would not open. He entered the access code and requested entry. Nothing happened. Inside, Lubitz remained silent, ignoring the increasingly urgent requests. The captain's voice, initially calm, became tense, then desperate. Soon, loud banging echoed to the forward cabin as he tried to force the door open. Passengers seated nearby could hear the muffled impact, unaware of its meaning. Meanwhile, the A320 continued its controlled descent toward the mountains, slicing through pristine alpine air toward a fate no one aboard could imagine. Air traffic control quickly noticed the anomalous descent and attempted communication. Germanwings 9525 respond. No reply. Further attempts also failed. The aircraft followed its programmed descent profile, with no explanation. Controllers wondered if there had been a decompression event, a catastrophic technical failure, or sudden pilot incapacitation. But telemetry indicated all systems were functioning. The only irregularity was the silence in the cockpit. Inside, Lubitz remained seated, his eyes steady on the instruments. As the aircraft approached the rugged terrain of the French Alps, no corrections, no evasive maneuvers, no attempt to level off were made. The Airbus flew steadily toward the massive rock walls. The terrain warning system began blaring, repetitive, insistent, unmistakable. Yet Lubitz did not react. The aircraft continued its irreversible path. In the final seconds, the captain continued attempting to break down the door, perhaps with the help of crew members or passengers. But the reinforced cockpit door, designed after the 2001 terrorist attacks to withstand intrusion, held firm. At that moment, the very security measure meant to protect the flight sealed its fate. At 10:41 a.m., Germanwings 9525 struck the mountainside with overwhelming force, fragmenting instantly. There were no survivors. The explosion echoed across the valley, startling hikers and residents who stared upward in confusion, searching for aircraft pieces falling from the sky. Smoke began rising from the shattered remains scattered across the steep cliffs, blending into the cold alpine air. Rescue teams were dispatched immediately, but the location was remote and extremely difficult to reach. Helicopters arrived first, revealing a devastating sight. Debris spread across rocky slopes, with no recognizable sections of the fuselage left intact. It was clear that no rescue was possible. The focus turned to recovering the recorders, understanding the cause, and providing answers to grieving families. When the cockpit voice recorder was finally retrieved, it revealed the disturbing truth. The last minutes captured the silent presence of the first officer, the alarm sounding continuously, an increasingly frantic attempt of the captain to re-enter. There had been no mechanical failure, no sudden loss of control. The crash was intentional, a human psychological tragedy at 38,000 feet. This event transformed aviation worldwide. New rules were introduced to prevent a pilot from being left alone in the cockpit. Mental health evaluations for airline crew were strengthened, and monitoring protocols were revised across the industry. The tragedy of Germanwings 9525 became a permanent reminder that aviation safety involves not only machines, procedures, and technology, but also the inner fragility of the people who operate them.